Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And tomorrow is a big day for T-Mobile. They have their Q1 earnings call early in the morning. Like I said, they kind of changed it around. They're doing it earlier. Actually, last year, Q1's call was May 4th. I did a little research. It was the first week of May. Now they're doing it April 27th. They're doing it early. It's 8 a.m. Eastern. So it looks like, from what I can tell, and I'm just speculating here, I think they're moving towards a traditional earnings call, the same one that we're seeing with AT&T and Verizon now. So I think there is a possibility that we will not get a YouTube live stream anymore. I think it's just going to be, or a video feed, I should say. I think it's just going to be done through voice, like how AT&T and Verizon do their presentations. They don't have any video feed for their earnings call. It's just a few people that sit in a room and they do it via voice. I think T-Mobile is moving towards that traditional setup for the earnings call. So now for the earnings itself, T-Mobile is dealing with some data breaches once again, right? Seven breaches in 4 years. They kind of downplayed it. There are some sources coming forward saying that the source code did leak, and now there's people coming out saying that their SIMs are being swapped. So make sure you guys keep an eye on your account. Make sure you guys are changing your passwords. Make sure you have two-way authentication. Make sure you have that on your account and just protect yourself the best way possible. Now, do I think this is going to cause an explosion of churn? No, because 47 million customers were affected back in August, and it didn't cause a spike in churn. Very little at that. And I asked two coworkers yesterday if they were even aware that had happened, and they didn't. And they're both T-Mobile customers. They had no idea that T-Mobile was hacked last year, August. So a lot of people just aren't in the known. A lot of people don't do research. A lot of people don't keep up to date with stuff like that. A lot of people don't even watch the news that I talk to. So a lot of people just don't know. So I suspect the same with this most recent one. A lot of people are telling me this one was worse because the source code leaked. And this helps the leaker, to better attack the company in the future. And they could have taken that and duplicated it and sent it to somebody else or sold it. But then there's also some saying that T-Mobile is saying that the threat is not as big. I mean, who knows? But security concerns are there. And I think you should not have your primary with T-Mobile. I think your primary number should not be with T-Mobile. If you're using that for your banking, I just can't recommend it right now based on those reasons. But I do think overall they will have a good quarter. Once again, I actually expect them to have a blowout quarter. We already know they're going to do 350,000+ fixed wireless home broadband ads. They're likely going to do somewhere in the range of 800,000 mobile ads for the mobility side. Their consumer mobility has always been through the roof. They've always been growing. Yeah, they may have had some slowdown over the last few quarters with the Sprint churn peaking, but they did say that eventually as they get that lowered and the Sprint base is migrated over to Magenta, they would eventually get that churn lowered, and then that growth would start picking up, because now at that point they're no longer donating to the market. They're taking share from the switcher pool. And that's kind of what happened when that Sprint churn spiked. They were donating to the switcher pool, and AT&T was reaping the benefits as we saw them grow for the last 6, 7, 8 quarters. Now that's set to kind of slow down a bit, and we saw that with Verizon. They lost 36,000 customers. Could they rebound in the second quarter? They potentially can, but I think that's going to be tough. I think they're going to have to make some adjustments. If they show a slowdown in the second quarter earnings call, that's going to be a big problem for them. That's going to be a big problem, and that's going to put Hans on the final hot seat. It really is. The board members are going to start speaking, and they are likely going to vote Hans out. I'm surprised they haven't. He hasn't brought anything to the stock. In fact, now the stock is lower than when he first took over Verizon. So he hasn't brought any value to that stock, really, other than having the best network. But they don't really talk about it. They need to go out and they need to talk about it. They need to say that they have it. They don't say it. They don't talk about it. So, again, T-Mobile is going to have a big quarter. I think that momentum continues into Q2. As a matter of fact, I think fixed wireless access has an opportunity to even grow further, to grow more. I think they can beat 350,000 in the second quarter. They're scaling in 41. They're adding more households. They're now at 40 million plus. They could potentially be at 50 million plus by the end of the year. So I think that has, with more marketing, I mean, they're already marketing the product, but with more marketing, more funding behind it, more scale, I mean, they're just gonna be able to sell it more, right? As more spectrum goes on air, they can open up more slots in given neighborhoods. I mean, the success is written all over that product, and I think it's going to do well for them. And we all know their consumer wireless is already a growth story and has been for the last decade, so no change is really happening there. And like an article said from Fierce Wireless, if T-Mobile can make some headroom on enterprise, it's going to be tough for Verizon. I mean, T-Mobile's already eating their lunch. Now they're going to eat the dinner and the dessert if they make some headwind on enterprise. So we'll definitely see what happens. I'll be tuned in tomorrow morning, bright and early. Let you guys know what happens. If there are any updates. I am expecting T-Mobile to announce about 235 million pops of 2.5 covered in this earnings call. If they are at any higher number, if they're at 240, 250, they're probably going to guide higher. They're probably going to be 280, 290 by the end of the year. I just think they're moving at that kind of pace right now. And they're doing it because they know Verizon's coming and they know the kind of pace that Verizon and AT&T are moving at. Even AT&T now is gaining some momentum if you guys have been seeing that. So definitely stay tuned to the channel. Like, share, subscribe. Follow all of my social media outlets for more updates and interactions. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.